As we know, energy is the motor of our functionality. It is the base of our lives, the one thing that is behind everything we do. As humans, our progress has been categorized on how we've been capable of harnessing energy and put it to work. At first, it was our own body's biochemical energy that was being used to function, like our muscles to move our bodies or digesting the food we eat. Soon after, we started to use chemical energy released in fire's reaction. We've also used energy from rivers and wind to create flour from grain to feed ourselves. At the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, we tackled the power of thermodynamics, the Carnot cycle, and thermal engines, and after a short time, we reached the point of exploiting the power of splitting the atom and creating, for the most part, a clean and sustainable energy. And as Einstein said, the capability of human extension in the realm of technical possibility.
However, we still struggle with the next step of a tangible, clean, sustainable, unlimited source of energy. The power not of the splitting atom, but the fusing one. Fusion energy is said to be the power source of the future, and it will remain that way for a very long time. The technical complications and lack of understanding of the baseline processes that could contain it and make it usable will make sure that it will stay in the future. Nevertheless, there's a way to have fusion energy without the hassle of cold or hot fusion here on Earth, and that is the maker of our days, the Sun. Dyson spheres, envisioned by the homonym scientist Freeman John Dyson, are massive superstructures that cover either partially or completely a star, absorbing and storing the energy of said star for further use. But wouldn't that get rid of our days on Earth? I hear you say, and yeah, I hear you. So let's take a quantitative approach to this problem. The amount of energy our sun provides to us throughout the whole Earth's surface in a single day is around 4.4 times 10 to the 16 watts, which is a huge amount, about 1,000,000 times more than the energy humans use in the same amount of time. But the total amount of energy the sun radiates out of its own surface is about 3.8 times 10 to the 26 watts, which is about 10 billion times larger than Earth, or 0.000000001% of the total energy output of the sun.
Most of the energy from the star we orbit around radiates out of the solar system into the Milky Way. So while being somewhat cautious about where we could install our Dyson sphere, there is no concern about the existence of our day and night cycle. We could let through some of the energy from the sun to hit the Earth's surface naturally, or with a more sci-fi approach, we could simply use the Dyson spheres, gather energy, and efficiently engineer it to keep the Earth running. And we could still have an incredibly large amount of energy left over to use somewhere else or to store for future purposes. So there shouldn't be any problem in building a Dyson sphere in account of Earth's survivability. But then, how do we make one in the first place? How do we create a Dyson sphere? The most common sci-fi rendition of a Dyson sphere is a shell completely encapsulating their star. However, as Dyson himself put it, it is unfeasible, as creating a structure that would withstand the forces of not only the gravitational pull of the stars so up close, but also the different forces due to the general activity of the stars requires materials unknown to us. It will be extremely unstable, and it will require an excessive amount of work for no discernible benefit compared to the other prominent alternative, a Dyson swarm. A Dyson swarm is the most feasible alternative for creating a structure that would withstand the star's forces and gravity. Instead of fighting them, a Dyson swarm uses them to its advantage. The swarm consists of massive amounts of cells orbiting the sun. This could range between a couple of meters squared to kilometers squared of a surface. Through the usage of millions of these cell-like objects, we could redirect some part of energy released from the sun into designated spots in Earth or even other planets and use them like any other form of energy.
The main questions about the specifics of the possible construction of a Dyson swarm were explored by Jack Smith in his paper Review and Viability of a Dyson Swarm as a Form of Dyson Sphere, published in November 11, 2022. Let's review some of the most crucial aspects his team pointed out. First, the location of the construction of the swarm. After careful consideration of the bigger picture, Mars should be the chosen location for the swarm assembly line. As its surface gravity is small, its temperature variance is survivable for most machinery, unlike Mercury, second place in consideration. Its lack of atmosphere makes orbiting the cells without chemical rockets feasible, and its surface is made of suitable material. Second, the design of the cells themselves. These, as explained before, should be thin sheets of material. The first mental image most people will have had is most likely of photovoltaic cells, just as we use on Earth. And I mean, almost every satellite uses them to power themselves. Why shouldn't we use them to create energy and transfer it back to us? And the answer is building complexity. Photovoltaic cells are too complex to assemble en masse as we need them on the Martian surface, as the lack of inert atmosphere and specific needed materials work against the process. So it was proposed that reflective sheets of iron or other materials are the best option, as they're easy to make, durable, and the process of reflecting sunlight to a central location to use the thermal energy of it is a process already proved and tested here on Earth.
And third, the actual construction progress. This would start by the usage of remote control robots similar to nowadays used scientific rovers, which would actually start the construction of the assembly site, including living quarters and large machinery needed to create the cells. Humans would eventually need on-site to oversee the process of assembly and expansion. The cells themselves would be launched not by conventional rockets, but by EM rail ejectors, which would use electromagnetic fields to accelerate payloads through the main Martian atmosphere to designated orbits, slowly but continuously enlarging the swarm in a process that would last a few centuries. So yes, this would not fit in a single presidential period. But there's a lot of oversimplifications that we've done to present the concept to you. And it already seems to be a massive headache to make. So,
why would we make one? It is such a difficult process, it is such a difficult thing to do. Why would we just bother with it? Well, we as humans can measure our progress throughout history with how we were able to harness our environment's energy to our advantage, from our muscles' energy to the atom. A Dyson sphere is the ultimate project a civilization like ours can envision to get ourselves to unimaginable heights, the horizon our knowledge is capable of giving us. Beyond lies incomprehensible paths to our species. A Dyson sphere wielder civilization will make us be like ants, looking up to gigantic beings almost oblivious to our existence. Saying a Dyson sphere construction is a massive, multi-generational, species-wide endeavor is an understatement. It is an unfathomable challenge. But as humans have been capable of massive things already. We created massive pyramids that will last thousands of years with nothing more than wooden wheels, some ropes, and a whole lot of strength. We put our own footprints on the moon, explored the most hostile environments here on our planet. We're capable of taking a photo of our own pale blue dot we call Earth from even farther away than Neptune's orbit. We came from barely understanding that filth will cause diseases to interconnecting almost every human on the planet in a net where information takes seconds to travel from one side of the Earth to the other in less than 100 years.
Jake et al.'s study about Dyson swarms estimates that we could reach net positive energy production with this structure in less than 100 years, and after only exponential growth would await us for hundreds more, making it in the present the ants looking at the massive being that our future selves would become.
All of this, yes, would almost be an impossible endeavor. But I ask you, when did that stop us?